newspaper. So hello, good evening. Should we start? Okay, what do you see on the first page of the newspaper? Anything important, relevant or not so important? First page. So we see two news items. Which two? This India-China. India-China must move forward on de-escalation, Jaishankar tells Wang. Now this keeps on happening again and again. Jaishankar will say the same thing, the External Affairs Minister of China, they will also say similar kind of things, and this will happen. So this is a news in transition, nothing very concrete, nothing so specific to discuss about. Then there is this news, easing food prices drive inflation down. Now is this important? Yes, is inflation important? Why? Huh? Because it's part of economy, that's why. Okay, because it affects almost everyone. Inflation affects everyone. What do you mean by inflation? Yes, what do you mean by it when you say inflation? Huh? Increase in prices of what? Goods as well as services. Yes, we consume either goods or services. Either you go and buy something or you take some kind of service. Now here, you're taking some kind of service. It's a coaching. It's a service. Or you're buying some cell phone or something. Those are goods. Now when the prices of goods and services start increasing, that is something we call as inflation. If they keep on increasing, then if it happens in exponential scale or in a very short duration, if the numbers are increasing, then it might also be called as hyperinflation. If suddenly you say this newspaper which costs hardly 5 rupees, it becomes, let's say, of 25 rupees. Mobile phone you're buying, instead of 25,000 it becomes 1 lakh. And the petrol you're taking 100 rupees, instead of that it becomes 500 rupees per liter. Can you imagine that? So it is going to affect everyone. That's why inflation becomes important. Now, for the economic stability of any country, that country's reserve bank or that country's government tries to ensure that the inflation stays in a particular range. Okay. Now for that, first they have to calculate or measure this inflation. In case of India, we go for two different indexes to measure this inflation. One is called as wholesale price index, other one is called as consumer price index. We are trying to measure, we are trying to check how much is the inflation in our country. Okay, for that government is using these two indexes. Now if I talk about this one, wholesale price index and consumer, see the difference over here. What's the core difference? When you people are buying something, you check the price. Now instead of 5 rupees of newspaper, it has become 10 rupees. Then I am checking the price change in the price at the level of consumer. You people are consumers. At your level, when we check the change in the prices, we check the inflation number. That would be this one. So consumer price index, if we make it, it will look at consumers. Okay, what is happening at the level of consumers. Now think about this. If we check the prices at the wholesale level, see the prices at wholesale level are different. So let's say mobile phone, let's say you people are buying, it costs, let's say, 50,000 rupees. But the dealer or distributor, when he buys from the company, in that case you see the prices. When you say wholesale, we are talking about bulk goods. When the goods are being sold in bulk quantity, the prices are different, right? If we check the change in that price, if we check the price of those goods, those items at the wholesale level and how this price is changing, There if we check the inflation, then we calculate this wholesale price index. Yes, are you getting this point? Basic difference? Yes. Earlier, India was focusing more on this wholesale price index. But after 2014, there was a committee, Urjit Patel committee, who recommended to go for this consumer price index because this can give us right numbers about inflation. Okay, so right now we are relying more on this CPI numbers. Now, just for the sake of factual understanding, you should know this wholesale price index. The data of this wholesale price index comes from this Office of Economic Advisor. Now, there is this Ministry of Commerce. Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Under this ministry, there is a department. Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. And under this particular department, we have this Office of Economic Advisor. So almost every month, you will see some kind of report or this particular index being provided by this office. Okay, this is WPI, Wholesale Price Index. When it comes to this Consumer Price Index, this comes from another ministry. We call it MOSPI. Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, MOSPI. Under this ministry, we have this National Statistical Office. And this one will come up with this CPI, Consumer Price Index. Okay. Now, what we specifically observe as a difference over here. In wholesale price index, we find only goods are listed, whereas here, goods and services both are calculated. When you calculate at the level of wholesale, you just look at goods. You don't calculate services as such. If there is any change in prices of services, it will not be calculated over here. But here in case of consumer price index, that is also included. Okay. And what RBI has to ensure? RBI has to ensure the inflation rate in India somewhere in the range of 2 to 6%. So we can say approximately 4% is the inflation that they have to ensure. If it goes beyond that, that is problematic. Suddenly prices will increase. So 2 to 6%. Beyond 6%, it's a problematic scenario. If it goes below 2%, then economic growth will not take place. Little bit of inflation is needed for the growth, for the economic growth of the country. If you want our market should expand, we should, you should have this business environment, then you don't want some kind of recession taking place in the country. You want little bit of inflation that should continue. Okay, so ideal range is this 2 to 6%. This, who has to ensure? RBI has to ensure. Their first priority is the stability in the economy. Economy should be stable in this range. And later on comes the aspect of development. Clear? WPI, CPI. Now, if we see this particular news, what they are saying, this retail inflation at 77-month low, 2.1% in the month of June. So they're just showing you the graph, how this retail inflation means they're talking about CPI, Consumer Price Index. So see the trend. It increased, then it decreased, and right now it is at just 2.1. In September 2024, it was at 6.21. Right? Right now you see the prices are falling down for many goods, many products. Okay, this is what we see through this particular graph. Any doubt? Yes? No? Okay. Then next news by our favorite Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Mr. Englishman. So he writes good articles, especially for international relations. We will find his articles being really good. Okay. Now, what he's specifically talking about? He's talking about India and European Union. Now, see this thing that India and European Union has something in common. What do you think that something is? Something is common between India and European Union as far as international relations is concerned. Yes? Or nothing is common? No? Parliament? From UK we have taken the parliament. Okay. That's fine. But we have taken so many things from so many countries. We took something from South Africa. We took something from Australia. We are specifically talking about European Union. Right now, is Britain part of European Union? Britain was part of European Union. Right now, Britain is not part of it. Okay, we saw Brexit taking place, after which Britain came out of it. Now, first of all, when we say European Union, it's a very interesting political entity. You see, there are total 27 countries who are part of this Western Europe, who came together to form something called as European Union. You see, each of this country is a sovereign country just like India. Okay, and they created something called as supranational political entity. That means above their parliament, above their sovereign status, they brought one more political entity. Let's say India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan all come together and form a new union. Okay, this new union has its own parliament. Think about this dimension. That would be something called as supranational political entity. So in European Union, if you want to go from one country to the other country, you don't need visa as such, you don't need, those borders are removed. You know, there is, even when two countries are going for trade also. So right now we go for different tariffs or taxes for any other country. In the European Union, one country will not put any particular tariff on other countries. So they've tried to make this entire region as one region, like one country altogether. Why? Any reason why would countries do that? Any benefit? If these countries come together, will they benefit out of it? Resource sharing, okay. Yes, trade. Okay, free trade, very good. So yes, trade or economic reason was major one. Second one was after World War. World War is something we saw in Europe only, right? Whether World War I or II or even third maybe we will see in Europe. The point is, after World War, to some extent Europe has realized that we have to reduce this nationalism and somewhere we have to cooperate for having some peace in the region. Second, if countries in the European region, they have to economically become better, their region has to be stable. And this is one good way to have this free trade, free market and free area in the entire Europe. And they even realized when any European country is bargaining any deal with any other country, let's say Europe is any country from Europe, Germany is trying to have some negotiation with USA, is trying to have some negotiation with China, or even with India. If just Germany is talking or just one particular country is trying to have that negotiation, they don't have that strength. But when entire region comes together and they go for any negotiation, now they get a good strength. Okay, they get a very good strength. Combined GDP size of all these countries will be way higher than any other country, right? So that they understood. So if they want to sign any free trade agreement with any country, so they'll not talk, you know, like one country will not go and talk. Entire European Union will talk. And they can negotiate in a very good manner. Getting the point? Now, this European Union was formed after this World War II. And right now we are saying there are total 27 countries. Britain had joined, it had become 28. Again Britain left and now again 27 number. Now see what is happening throughout the world right now. Right now we are observing a phenomena that we call as changing world order. The world order is changing. The rules of the world are changing. See, there is no world government as such, right? At the national level we have government, we know who is the most powerful and we have the structure. At the world level we don't have. But anything that happens in the world, for that we need some rules. Who will make that rule? One who will be powerful. That country will play the important role. Now, if you see the world order, since World War II, after World War II, only two countries were very, very powerful. That was United States of America and USSR, Soviet Union. Right? We can't call it Russia because Russia is different. It's Soviet Union. Russia is just small part of Soviet Union. Now these two countries were very powerful. We could actually call them something as superpower. Do you call India as superpower? China? Not yet. Trying to become, almost we can say, but not yet. When you are calling any country as superpower, their dominance cannot be questioned at all. These countries will be militarily very strong, technologically very strong, economically very strong, culturally very strong. You see, USA, if USA wants to attack any country in the entire world, hardly it will take 30 minutes for them. They have so many bases throughout the world. They have got enough money. Their military budget is highest among the world, right? So they have this military capability. Economy wise, nominal GDP wise, they are one of the top countries. Although USA was the #1 country in economic terms, but now China has come up wherein economically China is moving ahead of America, but only economically. Do you think China is militarily that strong as that of USA? Not yet. Trying to become, aspiring. Technologically, you look at any technology, USA will be at top. You look at the major tech giants like your, which tech giants are there? Google, Microsoft. All these countries, they have headquarters in USA. Right? You take new technologies, emerging technologies also. Now here also China is trying to compete with USA. Again, USA is at top. Culturally, look at USA's culture. Throughout the world, this culture is present. Even we people follow USA's practices. Right? Our eating habits have changed. Now we like burger, pizza. This came from USA. We wear the clothes of America. Even many times I observe people have their this flag of USA on their shirts. They feel cool, right? Will you put flag of Afghanistan on your t-shirt? Ever thought of this thing? You are feeling cool by putting a flag of another country. Can you think of this thing? How much you are influenced by this country? This is cultural influence of America, which you are not realizing. That's the soft power. You feel good by talking in English. You feel like proud. Regional language, So who taught this? So this is how we see this superpower coming into picture. Chinese language is not that famous till now. They're working on it. Now see, I'm saying post-World War II, the world was bipolar. Bipolar means there were two poles, USA and USSR. These two poles were there. Some countries were going to this side, some countries going to this side. But by the year 1990-91, this USSR collapsed. It got destroyed. Okay? And then remained only one superpower in the world, that was USA. Such a time frame we call as unipolar world. So after 1990-91, we have only unipolar world. Okay, that's why this LPG reform in India took place, many other things happened, Panchayati Raj came, all these things are linked, which you will understand with time. Now only one superpower is there. You will not mess up with this country, for sure. India also did not mess up with this country after this. Earlier we tried to. But after 2008, so some financial crisis took place, and after that, we observed after this 1991, many countries started emerging. Like India also became a strong economy, relatively strong. China also emerged, many other countries. And after 2008, we started observing the world is becoming multipolar. It's becoming multipolar. We are in this transition that it was a unipolar world. There was only one superpower. From here, we are moving towards world where there will be different powers. No one power will be the strongest. There will be USA, there will be China, there will be India, Russia. So many countries will be having power. That will be a multipolar world. Okay, we are right now in this transition. That's why I'm using this term. The world order is changing right now. Are you getting the point? And because this world order is changing, that's why you see so many conflicts, this trade war, so many wars, so many conflicts come into picture. You see so many things right now that are happening. This is just because of this changing world order. USA doesn't want its position to be lost, but USA slowly is weakening and other countries are emerging. That's why the power sharing is becoming different. So what do you observe? These institutions like United Nations, WTO, all these are institutions which are built by USA. USA played an important role, and now these have become very weak. United Nations major work was to ensure that there should not be any war in the world, right? And now see, wars, we just get the news of wars. WTO is not functioning right now. Countries are going for this bilateral arrangements because WTO is not working. So we observe these institutions are not working. Many geopolitical conflicts are starting. Ukraine, Russia war, or this Gaza conflict, China, Taiwan tension, these are rising. Then all the great powers, they are getting into conflict. USA and China. China is trying to replace USA. Right? So this conflict is starting. NATO versus Russia, the old conflict, which was before this World War II. So this again, or after World War II, there was this phase of Cold War. That time this NATO was formed, and NATO had an important role to play at the time of this Cold War. Yes? So again this is coming up. So we are somewhere in this Cold War era phase again. Then people are spending more on weapons. We saw in one news wherein arms import is increasing. People are spending more on their defense budget. Weaponization of trade is happening, what USA is doing right now. It's using its trade as a weapon towards other countries, directly saying we'll put 100% tariff, 50% tariff, using it like a weapon, right? And there is rise in nationalism. Because of all these policies and all these trends, we see nationalism in countries is rising. Right wing is coming into picture everywhere in the world, whether in India, USA, or other countries also. We're observing this trend. Okay? That's how we see this world order changing. Now come to India and EU. Okay, this was not mentioned in the article. What article is specifically talking about? In this changing world order, India and EU have something in common, and that's why we should come together. We can cooperate. How we can cooperate and why something is common in us? Look at these things. These are the things where European Union and India has same point of view. You ask USA, what kind of world you want? USA will say, one country should dominate, that is USA. You ask India, India will say, no, no, no. We want multipolar world and we want multilateral institutions. We want institutions like United Nations, multilateral institutions, where some of the countries or more countries will come together. We want multipolar world, not one dominating. Right? We want rules-based order. That means there should be some rules which all the countries follow. Just like United Nations made some rules and every country is following. We like that. But now China, what China is doing? China is saying, I'll not accept this rule. For example, there's this UN clause treaty. China says, entire South China Sea is mine. This is completely against that United Nations treaty. What China is doing, whatever rules-based order is already there, China is challenging that, right? So we don't like that. We want that there should be some rule-based order. Otherwise, any strong country will do what they want to. When there is no rule in the society, just think about this dimension. If there is no rule in the society, strong person will do whatever he wants to do. Similar thing will happen in the international relations. And there are some democratic values which are common with European Union and India. Okay, we have democratic values. Our values match with European Union. Whatever they want, we also want the same. Liberty, equality, dignity of people, human rights. All these are common things. Our constitution, their constitutions match to some extent. So that's where we are saying, even European Union wants that there should be multilateral rules-based order. Yes? We have common ground. Now, where all can we cooperate? So these are the areas you can think of, especially while writing answers. This will become quite handy for you. what are the areas where India and European Union, they can cooperate. So one is the area of trade. So we are having this talk on free trade agreement with European Union. It's still going on since many years. So maybe there is a possibility we will come up with a free trade agreement treaty. We are in talk with USA also, we are in talk with European Union also. Okay. Then technology wise, these countries are quite advanced in terms of technology. We can cooperate over there. Climate, for climate change, yes, European Union is actually leading to some extent. Okay, they have already put this net zero target. They're coming up with policies at national level. So there also we can cooperate. Security wise also we can cooperate with countries of European Union because it includes major countries like Germany, France, etc. So France is our defense partner to a good extent right now. Okay, we are getting Rafale and we are getting so many other things from France. Right now it is being said that France is new Russia for us. Just like we had a partner like Russia, France is becoming that new Russia. So there are many partners who can help us in the security domain. And again then research and education. This is one area where we can collaborate. Okay, try to remember those dimensions or try to make note of such dimensions, especially with respect to EU, USA, China, wherever we have the relationship which is strategic in nature. Now these are some recent initiatives which were taking place like India-EU Trade Technology Council, Global Gateway, Climate and Digital Dialogues, etc. etc. One thing we need to focus on, there are few challenges which Shashi Tharoor is specifically mentioning in this article. One thing he says, when it comes to this Russia-Ukraine crisis, India and EU are not on the same page. For European Union it is very clear, Russia is the culprit, Russia is the problem. India doesn't take any stand. India tries to stay neutral, right? Then we have this EU standards. European Union has got very strong rules, strong regulations and strong standards when it comes to environment, labor laws or data protection. They have got these standards that we will not compromise on those standards. When it comes to India, we don't have such strong regulations as such. So this is one area where our thoughts are not matching to some extent. Okay, and then we have this historical mistrust, because these are those countries who once ruled the world and who once had gone for this colonialism, right? So we have this innate fear or this mistrust with these countries. We don't find their intentions really good sometimes. Okay, that's what Mr. Shashi Tharoor is saying. Any doubt? No? Done. Next article, women STEM careers and more receptive industry. Not so important, but you can read this article on your own. Few things, when you talk about STEM, STEM means science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Okay, it's about the academic discipline also. So academic part, when you study in this particular field and when you come up with your career, that career or professional part in this particular domain, we are talking about this area. Okay, this is an emerging area right now. Now specifically this article focuses on women. India has one of the highest number of STEM graduates globally. On the global scale we are saying, when it comes to science, tech, engineering and maths, India produces maximum number of graduates. So they are talking about engineers actually. We are coming up with so many engineers. Okay, the number of women in that graduates is also very good. But when it comes to this workforce, when it comes to working in this field, there we do not see the same number. That means in education part, women is there in the STEM field. But when it comes to professional part, working part, there women are less in number. That's what the article is trying to say. So you see 43% STEM graduates are women, but only 27% are part of the workforce. Okay, the reasons are again the same, which are same for women throughout. There is patriarchy, there is gender stereotype. Women are considered that they can't do this. Maths, how can women study maths? They are not so logical, they don't have logical mind, they are emotional. All these things are there. So as if boys are not emotional. And then for women, they don't find many role models in the field because Nobody has entered, or they don't find people at the top level who are women to look for. Then they have to take career breaks. That's a major problem. After marriage, many females, they leave their job and they focus on their family responsibilities. So such things happen, which are common. These reasons are not very specific to this particular issue, but overall women face the same issue, because of which we see these barriers wherein the numbers differ when it comes to workforce. Okay? Any doubt? No? Another one. Dowry deaths in India. Dowry, you people understand? Many are aspiring to get so much dowry after getting selected. Yes? So in India, although we have provisions under law which try to say that dowry is not allowed in India, still dowry is there, and you'll understand that once you study Indian society part, polity part, then you'll get to know how our society actually works. Society accepts dowry. That's the reason, even if there are laws, it doesn't work. Now, because of dowry, how many deaths are taking place? Now, that's a serious thing. When violence is taking place, people are dying because of it. So, we have a data from NCRB. What is NCRB? National Crime Records Bureau. Now, this is one of the most important agency which can give you authentic data about crimes. If you want any data about crimes, just go for the report given by National Crime Record Bureau. Now they say 7,000 dowry deaths take place every year. So almost daily 20 people die because of dowry in India. It's a serious problem. Yes. And the numbers are very high over here in these particular states. Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand and Rajasthan. So 50% of India's all dowry death cases, they're coming from only these 5 states. So good performers in bad segment. Okay. Now one more thing, the problem with this dowry issue is, even if you try to reach out to judiciary, because we have legal provisions. For example, we have this Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, we have IPC section 304B, 498A, and these provisions are already made. Now still what happens? The conviction rate is very low even if you go to the courts. Conviction means, if let's say someone registers a case against this person, he will not be convicted. That means he will go to the courts and the issue will be resolved. He will not be punished as such. And there are many reasons behind that. First of all, investigation doesn't take place rightly. Society is very strong, right? Society puts a lot of pressure on even the investigating agencies. You don't get much evidence also. You don't get any eyewitness also. Then people think that if we go to the courts, this will put a, this is not good for our family. Our name will be destroyed. What will people think? There will be social stigma, because of which, because of this social stigma, people don't even go and register cases related to dowry. This is one problem. Then long trials, that's a regular problem of our judiciary. That case will continue for years. And plea bargains take place. Plea bargains means people start bargaining, and somehow if you are supposed to get the punishment according to this particular law of dowry, they'll try to settle down the issue, somehow manage it. So such bargains take place, and because of which we don't see much convictions. The data says more than 90% of the trials result in acquittals, or the cases are pending. Acquittals means the person is not getting punished as such, or the cases are pending. Okay? Any doubt on this? No? Last one is this. Australia hosts largest drills involving 19 nations with chances of Chinese scrutiny. So recently, so what countries will do? They'll do some mock drills. Countries will come together, they'll do some exercise to showcase some countries that don't try to attack us, because we can together attack you. Now Australia is concerned of which country? Australia is concerned for its security from which country? China, yes, China. China has become so powerful now. Even India is concerned. Now here, this Australia and USA, they go for this exercise. What is the name? This Talisman Sabre. This exercise they conduct in Australia. Although Australia and America started it, but other countries also joined. Okay, this year it has taken place in Papua New Guinea. So first time, it was supposed to take place in Australia, but first time they have gone outside the Australia, and in Papua New Guinea they are conducting this exercise. Now which countries are there? So there are so many countries, like India is part of it, Japan, Indonesia, Germany, France, Canada, Philippines, New Zealand. It seems like India brought all its friends, and America brought all its friends. Mostly we can say America brought its friends. India was part of it. So we see all these countries, and most of these countries, they have some fear about China. Okay, so they are part of this. It's a biennial exercise. That means in 2 years, once this exercise takes place. Okay, so this is happening. So they are saying Chinese scrutiny will be taking place. China will not be happy. They might send their ships and all. That's it. Okay, any doubt? No? So that's all for today.